was almost a decade ago. I was in the Adirondack Mountains for a hiking and skiing trip. I rented an Airbnb cabin for the week, kind of nestled in its own private section of woods, perfect for skiers and hikers. Though there was news of an incoming blizzard all of a sudden one day that week, I wasn't just going to cut my trip 3 days short though, and I already paid for it. I think it was a Friday, I don't remember. But I woke up that morning to knocks at the front door of my cabin. I looked out the window in my bedroom. I was greeted with nothing but white sheets of snow covering everything, with heavy snow still piling on. I looked to the front door and there was this woman in a parka who looked rather distressed. I quickly threw on a change of clothes and opened the door. She was some 40-something-year-old woman. Her cheeks were red and she looked freezing. She asked, and I guess as polite way as possible, if she could seek shelter here until the storm blew over. Figured it was the gentleman thing to do, so I invited her in and told her to make herself comfortable while I heated up some coffee. She plopped herself down on the couch and asked if I lived here. I told her it was just an Airbnb, then asked where she was coming from. She said she also rented an Airbnb up here, but she got caught in the blizzard and couldn't find her way back. She said her name was Meredith. I handed her a cup of coffee, but she refused it and said she was really tired. Then she asked if she could just rest on the couch. I allowed it though. As I ate my breakfast, I can't lie, I felt really awkward. I didn't really know what to do after my breakfast. I didn't feel comfortable just hanging in the living room kitchen area, so I went back to my room to watch TV. The snow was really coming down outside, and the wind was so aggressive that the whistling streaked through the windows. Not too long after another knock at the door, I once again looked out the window. This time there was a man outside. I went to open the door with Meredith now sitting up on the couch, asking who it was. I told her I don't know. Then I opened the door. Was like deja vu, because the man basically gave the same story, that he was caught in the blizzard and needed a place to stay. At this point, having already led Meredith, and I had to let him in too. I told him the same thing I told her. Make yourself comfortable. He introduced himself as Mark. Meredith and Mark, they introduced themselves to each other as well, and they had a laugh at the fact that they were both in the same boat. Then they both kind of playfully praised me for letting them in. Meredith seemed more lively now. Maura opens a conversation, so we talked about a bunch of random stuff until there was nothing really left to talk about. The day dragged on into the night. It grew dark and cold inside the cabin. The snow was showing no signs of receding. I offered them whatever food was in the fridge. Throughout the day, unfortunately for me, seemed it was approaching that time that I had to designate where there would be sleeping, but Meredith kind of did that for me. She asked if I would allow the two of them to stay here for the night. I had to say yes, so they both slept on the couches. I slept in my room, of course. I fell asleep rather easily with the knowledge that my belongings were under my bed and couldn't be easily stolen by these two strangers. I'm usually a heavy sleeper, but this night I woke up to a loud thump. I sat up. The door to my bedroom was open. The sound of the outside wind was incredibly loud. I discovered the front door to the cabin was open too, and neither Meredith nor Mark were on the couch. I went out to the porch for a second, just to look into the woods. There were fresh-looking footsteps leading into the snow, and I could see Meredith just standing out there in the snow facing me, holding what looked to be my travel bag. I yelled at her to come back here. Along with a few choice words, I ran to my room to get my boots. As I rushed to put the boots on while on the couch, I noticed my bedroom door was now shut. I 100 did not close that door. Was I about to open it? Hell no, especially not after I heard footsteps on the other side of the door. I got my boots and coat on and ran to the front porch again, but now Meredith wasn't alone. Someone, a man, I couldn't tell if it was Mark or not. I was standing next to her, holding her hand. And they were both facing the house. I didn't care about the bag anymore. I ran to my Jeep and drove through the 3 feet of snow. There had to be more than just those 2 people in the house that night, because someone else was in the bedroom. I was too nice. I let my guard down with 2 strangers and I paid the price. I'm just happy they didn't kill me, though somehow I got the vibe they were trying to do more than just Rodney at my bag. My older brother and I used to love to play out in the snow. We live by the woods. I'm not giving my town or state or any other details of our location though. One night our parents let us go outside to play in the blizzard. We figured playing hide and seek would be fun, since the footprints in the snow would create a new factor in the game, so I was the one hiding first. We were playing in the woods with flashlights. I turned mine off once I found a place to hide just to not give away my location. I ducked down in the deep snow. Bet we 2 big trees. I tried covering my tracks in the snow, but I couldn't possibly get all of them. Saw my brother's flashlight in the distance coming in my direction. He was definitely going to find me, so I ran in the dark deeper into the woods. I definitely lost him because I didn't see his light anymore, or maybe he turned it off. Also, we knew these woods and I knew which direction I was going. I wasn't going to get lost. Eventually, as I kept walking though, I found another trail of footprint. Seemed like they were left there only a few minutes ago, so I started following them, expecting to find a deer at the end. As the footprints became more fresh, however, I started to realize they were boot prints, not animal footprints. This also meant I was getting closer to whoever just left these blueprints. I was thinking at first that it was my brother. Maybe he ran past me without me hearing it. I only thought that because I didn't see how or why anyone else would be out here in the middle of the blizzard. With my lights still on, I noticed something black sticking out of this big pile of snow, which seemed to sit right next to the boot marks. I stopped and examined it and brushed some of the snow off the objects. I brushed enough snow off to realize there was a big black garbage bag. This didn't look good. I already smelled something foul in their garbage. That's what I was hoping for. I tried to find the opening of the bag and eventually just gave up and tore the bag open with my nails. Gagged the instant I saw what was inside, a decomposing human body. When I say gagged, I'm talking coughing loudly and uncontrollably in shock and disgust, and I think that gave away my position to my brother, because pretty soon his light started shining on me. I turned to him, his light in my face, and made a hand motion signaling for him to run, like go home, rightfully so. He was confused and kept approaching me, so I ran to him and told him to turn off his. Asked us a bunch of questions and they sent out a search team based on our description of the location. They didn't make us go back out to there. The search turned up no results, but they resumed the next day in the daylight, which was when we were asked for assistance in retracing our steps. We did the best we could, but the body was never found. It wouldn't be much of a surprise if whoever was out there moved the body after realizing there were 2 witnesses. We were literally just little kids when this happened, and we were still being followed by possibly the person who hid that body there to begin with. I still wonder if we just narrowly escaped with our lives.